So before we begin, this slide just sets out a couple of recent quotes to set the scene and to provide some context as to why the FCA has sought to change its supervisory approach so dramatically. The first quote there, where it says, "It is incumbent on a conduct regulator to intervene at the earliest opportunity," is from the Gloucester report, the background to and significance of which I will discuss shortly. And this clearly sets out the expectation that as a conduct regulator, i.e. an organisation responsible for the conduct of regulated firms and the protection of consumers, that the FCA has an obligation and a clear mandate to intervene quickly to mitigate any possible risks caused by financial services firms and to minimise any harms to consumers or markets arising from their conduct. You will see that I've also referenced the power under 175 of FSMA here. This essentially is an overlay to section 165 and permits the FCA to serve information requirements on banks to compel confidential banking information without the firm's knowledge or consent. In order to be able to exercise this power, someone at head of department level or above in the enforcement division of the FCA needs to give their approval. But it's something that is certainly fairly frequently done by the regulator when it is trying to build up a picture of the financial position of a firm and or where it is concerned about the movement of funds in or out of accounts, for instance, where it suspects potential dissipation of assets or possible money laundering issues. In particular, SUP and EGG remain clear that the FCA should, as far as possible, try and resolve supervisory issues with firms through a normal business as usual relationship. And this can take the form of visits, feedback, and meetings, rather than seeking to use its statutory powers as a default or in the first instance. And of course, firms are free to push back on the regulator in cases where they disagree with its arguments or assessment, and there's certainly nothing improper about doing so.